Alright, it's actually a best of 5 as we are in the semifinal with 2 surprise semifinalists. In the top right, on Everdream, it is Kass. In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, he is Harstem. So, bit of a surprise to see both these guys here. They're not incapable, I know English. They're not incapable of making it to the finals or the semifinals of cups, but there are a few other names who have been getting to the top 4 in this cup specifically. If this was not the EPT Open where Clam doesn't sign up alongside Rainer and Cyril not signing up, and a couple of people who could beat him like Geralt or Skills and sign up, like, yeah, of course, these guys are great. But the honest truth is that you would have expected Kass to be beat by Neeb, you would have expected Kass to be beat by Sol, and you would have expected Harstem to be beat by Clem. And hell, he's got a good chance of being beat by Geralt too. We actually 2-0'd. So, it's not even that they got a lucky bracket. They just ultimately deserve to be here, and that's great news. Kass, one of the oldest players we've had. I mean, Harstem's probably be playing as long. Well, I can't even say that. Kass has literally been playing since, like, beta. So I can't even say that, but... Well, Harstem has also been playing a long time. He's not as old as Kass. Like, Kass is just, like, he's older in terms of age. So, to see him actually be on the up and up is not what you expect. For Harstem, he's had some struggles versus Terran in the past. Kind of getting to a decent point and then always seeming to lose to one of the first pushes. Like, just, like, fancy. Almost too fancy for his own good sometimes. So look amazing doing this, that, or the other versus a Terran, and then just kind of like, meh. The attack and die. So I'm curious if he's fixed that, and that's why he beat Clam, or if something else is at play here. And we're going to be able to see at least a note of what Harstem did versus Clem, as it is another PvT. Kass is going to have to show us his TVP and what he did to beat Neeb. So pretty cool. Sounds like Todd is co-casting with Roddy. That's fun. Maybe he's gonna be casting DreamHack as well. No bunker is a little bit of a risky maneuver, but seems like Kass is going to be able to get away with it. What happened here? Stop that. Stop it. Harstem is going to be going for a Robo Opener, actually, into a fast third Nexus, and that's Twilight Council, not Stargate, but Robo. I do assume we'll be seeing a Colossus Bay on the way, but it's going to be very light on units. There's not much that Kass can do about this right now. He's just simply set up for a Woodamine drop. Now building a tank and a Liberator, and more harassment might happen, but nothing he can do to actually stop this third Nexus or punish the very few and very unupgraded units that Harstem will have. Not for a while, anyways. Kass also going for a fast third CC is something that Harstem's Observer did not scout, funnily enough. So it would maybe like to get back in there and see a command center or 2 barracks. Kass is maybe on the hunt for the Observer. He's missing it. He doesn't actually see it. Medevac went to the third and is now headed towards the natural. Kind of coming in from a very odd location, but Harstem does notice. Soccer's warped in first, kind of made me worry that he wasn't actually paying attention, but he is. 2 probes go down. 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1. One other probe going down. And the medevac is going to live. Observer gets back in there. I mean, it's been checking on the army size, so there's that. No medevacs have popped out. But not only is it going to be a faster third, it's also going to mean like later stim and combat shields, so any push that Koss would have in mind would be very upgradeless as well. And Koss has misrallied his command centers. Harstem, I feel like this is just not a build I see too often. This 3 base right into Colossus. It seems extremely greedy, but it is not being punished, so more power to him. Koss running in with unupgraded Marines and a couple of tanks actually might be dangerous, but only because Harstem has not gotten a whole lot here. I actually really like that Koss is doing this. I think that he should do some damage to Harstem. And if Harstem's Colossus is out, this is not such a big deal, but it's not out, so... yeah. There it is, finally. Marines without combat shields, without medevacs healing them, one Colossus actually does a ton of damage, but... they also had a Widowmine drop and Liberator harassment in the main base, helping to distract. Tanks are going to try and tuck down that Colossus. They grab it as well as the rest of the units, and that is GG. Harstem got punished for the extreme greed. He also lost sight of what his opponent was doing as his opponent moved across the map, when what he saw said, oh, he's not going to attack me. Like, I don't even blame Harstem for thinking he would get away with that. Koss had a 3rd CC, no stim, no combat shields, no SCVs were even pulled with that, right? So it was really an attack that I don't think was set up, but it was just more like, well, I mean, I should punish him. Like, what stops me from doing this? And less I know what to do against this, I am headed towards that, and more, well, why not just do it? And maybe if Harstem had seen it with the Observer that ended up dying, had seen the actual move out, or had a Stalker and a Adept scouting it, maybe he builds more shield batteries, and maybe has one more warp in, brings units from the main, maybe, if they were there. Like, maybe he can buy time, but he is just pretty damn greedy. It's a shocking build for me. Shocking build. Okay, game number 2 on the way. That kind of lines up with what I was thinking about Harstem's TVP, which is that it can be kind of fancy, and there's like some smart moves in there. So he's done like a couple of cool earlier Disruptor games and a couple of cool Phoenix games, which aren't, you know, super standard, but sometimes it feels like it's too fancy for its own good. I think it's a style of play that is particularly harsh. Either it gets away with what it is doing and it looks like a master, it looks, you know, fucking amazing, or it doesn't get away with what it's doing for whatever reason and it looks kind of silly. So it's just like a harsh way to play. But in that game, that looked a little silly. It is only game 1. Next up is Ice and Chrome. In the bottom left, as the blue Terran, he is Koss. And in the top right, as the red Protoss, he is Harstem. Took down Clem with some good Disruptor play, which doesn't surprise me. I think Harstem has shown good use of Disruptors, and Clem has shown... I don't want to say a weakness to it, because he has actually has amazing splits. Whereas our Hero Marine seems to be very decisive and basically just kills his Protoss opponent with one of his first pushes. Clem struggles to get that fatality. So it leads to maybe a little more scrappy of a TVP with Clem, and scrappiness is Very good for disruptors. So I'm not surprised to see that Clem, read that Clem. Because I don't hear anything you guys tell me via chat. Not surprised to read that Clem died to that, but Harstem not going for disruptors last game, going for a greedy robo opener. Really fast third off of a robo opener that is purely used for observers too. I mean, not even a warp prism to scare Koss and be like, oh, what can I do with this? It wasn't even there. Koss had very little to be afraid of and had just enough scouting with his Widowmine harassment to be like, well, okay, let's go. Let's do this. Can't imagine that same game happens again. Both in that Harstem will open up differently and Koss will not get such a free push onto the third. But now let's wait. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? I have this sinking feeling that Koss is going to make this Cinderella story, except instead of at the ends, the prince doesn't put the shoe on Koss's foot. The prince, aka Here Marine, takes a chainsaw and slices off his feet. You know, I have this really sinking feeling that's going to happen. Koss is going to win versus Harstem, 3-0 or something like that, and look really, really good, and then it's all hopeful because PvT seems to be going good for this guy, and he's facing Here Marine, and Here Marine's just going to be like, oh, no, I'm going to win. Same thing's going to happen with Harstem, though, to be honest. These guys are facing... Either one of them going to be facing Here Marine in the finals. It has been tough for literally every single person going up against Here Marine in the finals. Ah! 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 Coca. Oh. Oh.
Game paused.
Oh, damn. We waited for him, too.
Game resumed.
Coca and Funko were a little late to the party, so they joined in the lobby when it was counting down. Only to lag out. That sucks. So anyways, what I was saying is that both of these guys unexpectedly in the semifinals still to actually continue their amazing story and their surprise performance in ESL. To continue that, they would have to take on Here Marine, and I just don't see that happening. We're not done yet. It has not been decided. Who is it going to be? TVT or TVB finals hasn't been decided. Things can still happen here. Harstem opens up with a Stargate that has been revealed, thanks to the Reaper's keen scouting. Goes right into a third Nexus after a little pit stop at the Robo, but very light on production. We are talking about 3 production facilities, a Stargate, a Gateway, and a Robo. Walk into a bar, and they say, what's the counter? Okay, anyways. It is, again, greed, and Harstem does seem to like to be greedy. Like, you think Harstem, think macro plays, even though he has his unique and fancy ways of getting there. And in this case, I would say this is kind of unique and fancy. A Phoenix into Colossus build, as we know, is normal nowadays, but it really is more interesting to talk about their third base timings and also if they go double forward or not. And in this case, this is one of the fastest third Nexus you can get. So again, very light on the production. The Colossus with its 4 skinny little legs ain't gonna have much support beyond that. I assume it's Colossus. Let's wait a second and see, maybe it's Twilight Console. Immortal being produced. So Harstem does get a full scout in the main of Koss, and he's able to see that it is a 2-1-1. It would actually be kind of funny if he misread this as a starport, but I don't think he has. So it's a 2-1-1, then add on the third barracks. Boom, you got some pretty decent production as well as some pretty decently timed medevacs. Koss maybe thinking back that last game, saying like, well, that was a nice opportunity. I did end up winning, but like, let's do something that actually punishes more in the early mid game. And this would certainly be it. Harstem does slap down a robotics bay. He's not gonna have a lot of units. I am worried. Like, Harstem does these builds, though, because he has made them work in the past. So I am worried, but Harstem has a plan. Is that plan still battery overcharge? I don't know. It might be. Two Cyclones. Oh, they might want to go ahead and, yeah, I was going to say cancel the Phoenix attack and kill the Stasis Trap. Kind of sucks, because it'd also be nice to kill two Phoenix, but oh well. One Immortal anchoring what is an unupgraded gateway units. Phoenixes shouldn't be underestimated in their role in the defense. But my god, oh my lord. Robo's right there too. If that had gone down, oh lordy. Koss is thinking about it, he's thinking about it, he's not gonna go for it. Oh jeez, I would still be terrified. I don't, jeez, oh god. Okay, so Koss ain't gonna go for it. Colossus is out, and especially with the force fields, Colossus would be fine around here, so. Whew. Nothing happened, and yet I felt like it was still kind of a butt clench moment, you know? Like, ugh. Ghost County finishes up. Koss is also gonna add on those Vikings. Yeah. When you see Phoenix, you should think Colossus first. So it's not like he didn't figure this out. He didn't know about it. I'm gonna be looking for good EMPs and a good concave, but Ice and Chrome, one of the defensive properties of this map, it doesn't have the tied together 3 base on the high ground like a Death Aura. It does have chokes protecting that 3rd base. 4th base, a little more of a stretch. No upgrades for either player quite yet. Koss did delay his +1 to do the build that he did, or some other builds would have timed out with combat shields. So he's working on double engineering bay now, where Harstem has just started up his +1 attack off of a single forge. So it's a more vulnerable armies than we would anticipate. Still gotta work through this choke, and I just don't see Koss really being able to break through. And those force fields looking awfully scary. Gonna move over to the would-be 4th and have a better angle over there. Koss is just posturing, it looks like. Oh, I love the supply depot to check out for a War Prism. Harstem has his own vision with the Zealots Adept combination and Phoenix to the north. I actually like it. And he's managed to grab the Zelnaga to the right, which Koss would actually prefer him not to have. So he's gonna go clear it up. Not gonna say the Adepts, but gets 2 Cyclones for free-ish. Double Disrupt there. Alright, now this is where Harstem, I think, this is where the Protoss feels very good. Harstem did not take any damage to a mid-game push. He got away with his fast 3rd Nexus. He still doesn't have the most amazing army because his upgrades aren't exactly great, but he's got Colossus, he's got Disruptors. Doesn't have Blink, but has Charge. It's still good enough. Disruptor, not gonna get anything. Second Disruptor is ready. Another Disruptor has just popped out. 2 more Disruptors. He's already up to 4 Disruptors. Zealots looking to harass as well as distract. Vikings were thinking about landing, but now they're going to be landing in the wrong location, so this is awkward. Koss is going to completely evacuate the main push. This is taking way too long to clean up. He doesn't want to get bopped by a Disruptor he's not paying attention to. There you go. 1-1 is going to finish up for Koss. Put him at even upgrades to Harstem, so really not too bad for the Terran player. Harstem loses a Phoenix and his Oracle. Zealots are once again set up for the 3rd base. The supply depot barely sees it. There is almost nothing here. That's a very good concave, but losing 2 Ghosts is fine, I think, for the Disruptors. Taking out the EMPs and killing some expensive units. Koss getting 12 of his CDs killed is not handling these run-bys very well. He really wants to pressure Harstem, but it's just not, it's not happening. That's just not happening. gotta go for it. He feels the need to all in, perhaps. I don't see any EMPs, so the force fields by a ton of time. Colossus aren't even in play here. He's just actually just keeping them at natural. He doesn't even need them. Man, Harstem, when he gets to this stage, looks really good. He just needs to not die in the early game. I feel like Koss doesn't need to all in. Like, it sucks his third isn't mining, and he lost SCVs. Like, it really sucks. It feels like he lost so much momentum. It feels like it's just, you know, it's always going to happen. It's so frustrating to play against. But Koss, especially if he's clicking on Harstem's units and seeing he has an upgrade lead, like, he has a 4th base and a 5th base being made. He does need more Vikings to take out the Colossus. They are eventually going to be included in the fight, and here they come now. He's got a couple of EMPs, but not so many, and I don't even know what he does against this many Disruptors. 8 Disruptors? Like, alright. Alright, hopefully he's as good at dodging them as Clem is. He's already dodged out 3, just kidding, he dodged out 2, 3rd one gets a strike, 4th one gets a spare. Still a few more, I thought. The run on the right side doesn't get too much, but you know what? The army power of Harstem is just too much. Disruptors, pretty important part of that army. Definitely paying more attention to them. The rest of the army was winning anyways. GG. Now it's tied up 1-1. Kitten pictures. Alright, almost everyone in the lobby. Eternal Empire for game 3. I'm gonna be right back while the countdown goes.
Twitch Prime sub received. Thank you for appeasing the Overmind.
Thank you very much, Dragon Taurus, for the Twitch Prime sub. In this best of 5, we have a tied score. In the bottom left, Blue Terran, Koss. In the top right, Red Protoss, Harstem. Eternal Empire, the Battleground. Harstem was able to get over that hump of not dying to a early to mid-game push. And if he doesn't die to that, he is a very good macro player. But Koss, I think, really got interrupted. I think that Zealot run by wasn't devastating in terms of numbers. Direct damage, I think it was a lot more devastating in the indirect way, which it brought Koss's attention back home, and it made it so he couldn't engage when he thought he had a chance. So it put more pressure on Koss, and I'm guessing there was even a little bit of the decision paralysis, where he was like, do I go back or not? Do I go back or not? And while he was deciding on that, he lost a handful of units and a bunch of SCVs instead of just returning home. And maybe turtling just a little bit. Yeah, that doesn't bode too well. It was a fairly simple run by. I mean, Harstem didn't have a War Prism with it, didn't have DTs. Like, hopefully that's a once-in-a-series type mistake, and Koss isn't going to be thrown off by further run-bys, because you gotta figure they're gonna happen. Tutorial on army movement you would recommend. I'm not really sure how I would teach army movement. Scouting and reacting, I guess, is kind of army movement, I guess, right? I don't know. No. Honestly, I haven't watched anything that's supposed to help you in Starcraft since 2011. Like tutorials and YouTube videos and whatnot. I just watch replays and cascades. Hey, you're late to the orbital. Hey! Hey, what are you doing? Koss actually, this is a pretty big mistake. Hello? There we go. There we go. But he's definitely enough minerals to start that. Orbital ASAP. I'm sick and tired of watching y'all in the sub replays not getting orbitals ASAP.
Thank you for appeasing.
And you're gonna be like, well, Koss didn't get an orbital ASAP. Well, he made a mistake. Thank you, you suck for the... Heh, you suck. You suck for the prime sub. Marines darting forward here, hoping to catch another greedy Harstem. And guess what? It is another greedy Harstem. It's funny, because I still believe Koss's first game was a lot of like, well, why not? But it's funny that in the second game, he tried to stop Harstem's greed and failed. And it would be really funny if this third game, a different build, Banshee build, also doesn't stop Harstem's greed. Two Hellions try to swoop in, but Stalkers barely block out the one, making one Hellion a lot less scary. I mean, with two, you still have to two-shot the probes, but now with this one Hellion, you have to three-shot him? No, here come two more, actually. Harstem just has so few units, but it's not even particularly because of his build. Like, you just don't have many units in general early game for Protoss. Certainly is making him use his warp-ins, or maybe he would prefer going into a Robo or Twilight Council at this point. So, 7 probes isn't bad, it's really not. I think more so the problem is that he was supposed to maybe adding on an Observer, or a Twilight Council, or a Robo Bay, or an Observer, or whatever, right? And instead, he did have to warp in more units, as opposed to just being like, oh, I'm good. I'm only saying that because Harstem has been greedy in the past. I would say you generally want a decent amount of Stalkers, but we're also usually talking about Twilight Council opener, which this was not. It was Robo and 3 gateways. So, yeah. They're going to be helpful against this Banshee, and good on Harstem. Was anticipating this, had an Observer to the left, an Observer in the main. No shield battery, but still doesn't grab that many probes. Maybe 4. Yeah, 4 is not worth a Banshee. The second Banshee is going to want to get at least 6. At least. Thank you, Kamikaze, for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate all the sub love, you guys. This is my main job. Every little bit helps. Cloaky pleasey. It sucks to be caught like that, but it is unlikely the Observer is keeping pace with the army out in the middle of the map. Harstem is doing an excellent job. So yeah, it's funny, you know? It's funny in a bad way for Koss anyways, but it's funny that one game it felt like he just kind of coincidentally caught Harstem. And in the next 2 games, he might be very much on purpose trying to do damage and punish Harstem. He can't do it. Harstem is going for another bit of a weird build. In this case, he's going up to 3 bases within our forge, and then adding on charge first and foremost. So we've seen Stargate charge, we've seen Blink into charge, obviously. I would even say we've seen Colossus into charge, like Colossus first and foremost into charge, but even that would be rare, right? He's probably doing one of the rare builds, and that's just like Harstem being a special Protoss. Which is no Blink, no Phoenix, no Colossus, right into charge, and then right into Storm. He's playing like a Diamond level Terran's worst nightmare, okay? He's like, what did Terrans hate playing against charge bots? What did Terrans hate playing against Storm? Now, I am making the joke, but it does really get different the higher up you go in skill. Storm is insanely powerful in the lower leagues, and still pretty powerful even up till Masters and Grandmaster. And then it really dies off to the point that Storm was coming later and later and later, and sometimes not at all in the professional side of things. But it's changed back a little bit. We are seeing faster Storm now, but this is just one of the fastest Templar archives, although he has yet to start Storm. War Prism gets on top of these SCVs as Koss unloads his medevac, so very unfortunately timed. Not paying attention to either place that well. Loses a chunk of his army. Banshees come back to help clear up the SCVs, and not a whole lot of SCVs died. This wasn't actually too bad on either side. It felt like it went better for Harstem just a little bit on both sides. He caught the army, he got his War Prism out, and is now getting to a 4th CC. With a danged Observer just right on top. That ain't right on top of the army. So now Harstem, literally no medevac defense. Still cleans up a medevac drop, but no medevac defense. No big and powerful unit. Now Harstem adds on Robotics Bay and Triple Forge, question mark? And a second Robo, and maybe Disruptors. Like, what is Templar Archives for, though? I'm actually just confused at this point. Just the Archons. Alright, yeah, alright, yeah. Duh. Just pure charge on Archon for a while there. Alright. Recall is going to be used. War Prism takes a little bit of heat, but better to save that for sure. Koss has EMP. Don't know about using it against that one unit. At Eagle Eye. Both saw the Observer and I think also wanted to scan to see where the army was. Good target fire there. Where is the Observer from Harstem? Doesn't have one here. Banshee barely escapes. Gonna come back, a couple probe kills. Maybe. Needs to make sure to be out of that detection range. Koss, leaving his tank's position on the high ground in Siege really does let him focus on other things. So as the Zealots run by, he cleans it up without faults. As the Zealots run by in the main base, it should be a fairly swift response. He's going to bring his army back home, unfortunately leaving the tanks, but they might not die. Vikings finally take care of that pesky War Prism, and the Ghosts, actually pretty decent against the Zealots, take them out too. So 7 SCVs, while meanwhile a couple of probes are going down to the Banshee, just barely out of range of the dual vision. Just kidding, it got into range of the cannon vision. Oopsie doopsie. Tanks not on sieging could easily take out the Zealot, but now it's too late. The Zealot has revealed their presence, and the Stalkers are there to clean things up.
Apparently you're doing something right, Captain.
Thank you, Raze06 with 2-month resub. Oh, EMP tries to go off and hit something before it dies, but how many more does he have? Actually, quite a few more. This is a weak army from Harstem without the Disruptors, but here they are. Good split there from Koss at the very last second. And a decent enough there as well. Still getting a couple of his ghosts shot, but it could have been much, much, much worse. And now he knows the Disruptors are out of juice. The Archons are vulnerable. They've been EMP'd. They could be EMP'd again. Harstem, little overzealous perhaps right there. Overzealots. Another EMP hits the Zealots that time. Shit, stop, mouse, stop. And the Archons do go down, just barely out of range of that overcharge. Harstem might have been better off backing up for a little while longer, but the Zealot reinforcements, the Stalker reinforcements in this situation might just be perfect. More reinforcements coming in from Koss means he's not defending the Zealots over here, but a bunker really is helping out. Disruptor that time only getting 2 shots, 2 units rather. And not going to get a second shot as it's tagged by a couple of units. Does he have Marauder slow? Okay, that's a big mistake from Koss, but it might not matter. Koss actually trying to carry on with momentum. Both of them losing lots of workers. Now the Disruptor is out. Very soon, this one's going to recharge. Koss is just rallying, man. He's hoping that bunker takes care of things, but the bunker actually has not taken care of things. Koss might have taken care of a lot of probes, but he needs to maybe get this Nexus too. And ooh, not paying attention that time. 2 Ghosts and Marauder go down, but the Nexus at least falls. 21 SCVs have been killed. Oh, it took so long to respond to that. That bunker was such... It was a good bunker. It was. There was a lot of Zealots. I don't know about this anymore. The number of Protoss units starting to get kind of scary, and they've had an upgrade lead. They're about to have 2-2 as Koss is still about 30 seconds away from his own 2-2, and yeah, Koss has to retreat. Now, Koss might not have been paying attention to his 3rd base, at least has a 4th base up and running. He needs to also be replacing these Medivacs, which he is. 2 go down and 2 replace them. Disruptors, once again, have a lot of their shots off of cooldowns. They're looking for the fight, but good concave, good splits. Maybe not on the left side, but ooh, okay. About 6 Marauders went down to 2 Disruptors. But now they're out of juice, and Harstem doesn't have much else besides those Disruptors to depend on. Another one coming in for the reinforcements. More Zealots coming in. This is a tug of war that Koss desperately wants to win. Upgrades are currently even, but the Medivac count low, the Marine count low, the Woodamine count non-existent, and the Disruptors finally get a good shot there. Koss, oh god, he's losing too much, I think. I think it's just too big of a map to actually continue with this momentum. I think he needs to just take the fact that he lost. He took out a 4th base and retreat. And finally he does. Yikes. I think it's so tempting when you see Disruptors and you see them throw their shot at you, right? And you say, oh, no more Purification Novas, I got this. This is my time to shine. And certainly it's better than when they do have Novas, but you can't underestimate the army that is supporting them. Forces the recall, but then realizes he was scouted, or just decides... Maybe he saw the DTs. Oh, he saw the DTs. Ooh, man, Koss. Good eyes right there. He saw the ones reinforcing, or going across the map. Has no scans, looks like, for the natural, because he definitely saw it. Now he has a scan. There we go. But I think he saw these DTs. Missile turret's already prepared. 4 bases to 5 almost. Harstem is really depending on these Disruptors, isn't he? I actually wonder if Marauder Slow had finished earlier. Would that have been the difference maker? Probably would have grabbed a few more units, a few more Disruptors, but at least now he has it. He's moving on to Liberators as well as taking a 5th base, so he's setting up for the later game. I think Harstem should feel comfortable with 8 Disruptors. I mean, that's a pretty good count, but I also think that adding on Colossus or Storm might be a little bit more trustworthy. Just one woman's opinion. Maybe hoping to bait Koss into stimming after him up that ramp, but Koss just goes for the concave. It's going to be difficult for Harstem to break into. A couple Stalkers harassing this would-be planetary. It would be out of range anyways. 3-2 is finished up for Harstem, about to get 3-3, but Koss is not too far behind. Upgrades are not going to be the factor here, especially because Disruptors don't care. Ooh, massive EMPs hitting there. Good split away from the Disruptor. Is going to need a better concave, and he's got a pretty good one. Liberator's also not going down particularly fast or grabbing those kills on those Disruptors, and thank God for Marauder Slow. Maybe a couple more Disruptors will be going down. They are getting a couple shots. That one was a really good one. Nothing super amazing, but maybe consistently good. Harstem, I still think shouldn't be relying on Disruptors. All it takes is half of them to be consistently bad or die, right? And that actually just happened. 4 of them died. And suddenly you're down to 4 mediocre shots. I don't think it's going to support the rest of your army that long. Koss is also working on +2 ship weapons, 3 Liberators at a time, and already has Liberator range, so harassment could also be a really big deal for both parties. DT is going to try and distract. No, I think it was a Warp Prism actually was found. DT immediately scanned, picks up in the... Oh, wow, that's a bold move right there. He's assuming that his Liberators will hold this position, and so far he is correct. Harstem can't get scouting to see that only about a portion, like literally a third of the army is there. So he doesn't know where the other side of the army is, but it kind of just revealed itself, didn't it? Harstem will have recall. Observer's going to see this first and foremost. Cost with 5 medevacs headed towards that natural. Very little defense there. Is the recall going to happen? 1 medevac is going to get shot down before it can unload fully and entirely, but this is a lot of bio. The Disruptor not going to get any type of good shot there. EMP even going down. There are DTs as a response. Probes go down. EMP is effective as a scan too, but needs another scan. More DTs are available. No medevacs. Nope, medevacs. Nope, there are medevacs. Medevacs, please. Medevacs, please. Oh my god, what is he? Oh, jeez, come on, man. Medevacs, please. God, why? Medevacs. And now, well, at least they're alive. Hopefully he brings them back home. Good defense against the Warp Prism. He got 12 probes, a Disruptor, and a handful of gateway units for that drop. I guess if he leaves, the medevacs ain't that bad, but I think he just mishotkeyd his medevacs. He doesn't have any right now. Okay, thankfully. Oh, okay, he finds them. I mean, that drop would still be alive and kicking if the medevacs were healing. I do believe. But at least he remembers them and brings 3 of them back, because he does need at least 4 medevacs, is usually the number. He's down to 3, but that's certainly better than 0, as he is entirely focused on building up that Liberator count. 4 Liberators at a time, plus 2 about to finish. These were the first counter to Disruptors, basically. Tanks have kind of come into play as a counter, as a prediction, as a way of saying, don't just attack me, worry about my tanks as well. But Liberators were the first way. And this number of Liberators is quite impressive. Also, Liberators very helpful in defending planetaries against the eventual mass DT blink up, which is kind of being set up right now. If there were 2 Liberators right here, this would be a disaster for Harstem. Wouldn't mind helps a little bit, but not enough. DT's blink is off of that planetary, and it is gone. Koss, though, focused on the attack to the left side. Looks like he's willingly giving up the right side. You only give up so much of the right side, though. There's so many Liberators. Harstem really has to hope that Koss doesn't pay attention or is truly pulled out of position. He's doing a fantastic job of killing Koss's economy. I don't know if this, it's like turning into an all-in here. He's got so many extra command centers, but this squad of units is killing him. Like, with this many Liberators, he could have taken this much army back home and still been fine, but he's not doing it, and that... I don't know about this. Not only does he lose his planetaries, he's losing his orbitals, and if he replaces his planetaries with orbitals, the run-bys will be even more of a disaster. Amazing Disruptor shot there. Another one looking for it. Koss is forced to feel stressed. When I feel like this number of Liberators was supposed to do the opposite. It was supposed to make him feel very, very confident. Massive EMPs hit the most of Protoss's army, but the Liberator count has been thinned out down to 5. The Bio army is always going to be scared of getting hit by Disruptor 2. This one's going to be pretty damn good. That is most of the Disruptors gone. Koss still has a 20 army supply lead. He's now finally digging into Harstem's probes, but Koss is down to 12 SCVs. Can't even afford this planetary. He does have 4 orbitals. Like, I mean, his economy is still there. It looks like he finally responded to the run-by with his own more Liberators, of course. But, oh man, God, this made it so much more complicated. Oh, the blink forward. EMP making a lot of those Stalkers one-shot for the Liberators. When they blink forward like that, an EMP hits them, the Bio hits them, Liberators are taking them out one shot apiece. Harstem expanding to the right side as well. He's going to play Ring Around the Rosie as long as possible because he knows Koss is all in. He finds a non-planetary. Easy takeout there. Koss desperately trying to save it and bring some SCVs with it. Not going to work out. Too strong. And I think Harstem is playing this really, really well, but Koss also just made a mistake by not responding to the run-by. That's too bad. He was in a very good position. Now down to 0 workers. Still all in. Liberators pointing in the wrong direction. No high ground vision, so Marauder's getting some serious damage done, but Harstem, again, play Ring Around the Rosie. Bring in DTs again. Eventually, Koss will run out of scans, although he does have like 7 ghosts here, so I don't think he'll run out of EMPs. He does have to be paying attention every time. He has to be careful not to EMP his own ghost, which I think happened there. Disruptor is not going to get any good shots. Now being pushed away from the third base. Koss starting to get some serious revenge. Maybe with the base trade. Disruptor's desperately hoping to find the, I guess, units AIing on top of them, which does happen commonly. There's so many of them that while Koss might be tempted to jump on top, it might not work out. And we're talking about the last few units here for Koss, where Harstem at least has some ability to remake. His production is still good, and he still has 52 workers that are finally getting to mining, although Wood of Mine's about to change that up. I don't know if the armory died or not. Too busy trying to focus in on these disruptors. Can they get a shot? Can they not? What's going to happen? The Nexus goes down. Liberator's pointed the wrong direction. He's got to re-siege. He does. As well as the EMP. Disruptor, no. Second Disruptor, no. Oh my god. He's going to go for the big ol' surround. He's trying to pick him up. Oh, okay. Making the best out of a bad scenario there. Koss. Oh my god. If he wins this, he is a god. Oh, Harstem. That was a sick setup, but now the Disruptors on the left side are finally going to lose their lives. And Koss takes an even better army supply lead. I don't think this is actually happening, you guys, but damn if he's making it close. A couple Marauders are found out, and that actually sinks Koss's supply back down to just 69. Scannerville's the army. Liberators siege up. None of them go down, so that's a pretty powerful siege. Harstem barely getting a Nexus up to the left side, still has 2 to the right. Oh my god. Oh, a very aggressive blink forward. Oh, I know he's tempted to take out the Liberators when he can, but his Stalkers aren't exactly healthy either, and he is running out of gas. Oh no, Harstem. Oh my god, Harstem can't remake any of these Stalkers. He's gonna be making 1 Stalker at a time. Oh my god. Oh my god. Grabs a ghost with Disruptor shot. This one not gonna get anything. He has 5 Disruptors. That's a pretty good number to consistently throw out Purification Novas, but he's got to be careful with them. Honestly, I would say that he can never throw out more than 1 Nova at a time, or he'll be pounced on. Another Nexus falls, and if that one goes down, the one to the bottom is not going to hold up for very much longer. Disruptor shot almost gets a good one, but not quite. This one's still missing as well. Liberator count at 5 with 1 very, very weak. And Koss, he's been using scans, not mules. He has not been mining at all. Another Liberator goes down. Good pick up there from Harstem. He has mined to the top left. The Widow Mine has not gone over to there to deny it. It could, but it doesn't know about it. Oh no, it could actually be adding so much mining right now. Oh my god. This is actually so much closer than I thought it was going to be. Harstem is going to try and revolve around these Liberators, but he can't blink over this. That would be the ideal, but it can't happen. Oh, but he blinks forward. Okay, he loses a couple of units. I think he lost 1 unit, actually, and then just got another one injured. So down to 3 Liberators. I still don't think he can do it. This Liberator is caught. Oh, I don't even know where he found that Liberator, but it came from somewhere. 1 more Marine could help out, too. Come on, little buddy. Would have Mine finally moved into the top left. Finally. But Harstem, yeah, he's better off. Well, not only chasing his Liberator, that's going to go down. He's also better off defending against this Wood of Mine. And, wait a minute, does he have any observers? Oh my god, he doesn't have any observers. And he didn't kill the armory. Oh my god. Forced to use the Nova on it. Oh, Harstem now has a supply lead. He's gonna find Liberators, not siege. Doesn't actually kill them. It's a good concave for Koss as well. He's gonna try and go for it. I think he knows this is the final push, but a good split from the left side. Another decent split. No, 2 Martyrs go down for the Purification Nova. This one's gonna hit! I think that's it. I think that is it. There's too much left over. Harstem just barely winning out right now. Oh, Koss, if you had any reinforcements whatsoever, be different. But GG, well played. Oh, God! Koss, kudos for making that close. That was not the last game either, guys. It's now a 2-1. That was a fun game. Submarine for game 4. Ay, ay, ay. I. Everyone's ready to go, especially Cass. Let's do it. Submarine. Could be a tricky map indeed. Cass maybe feeling the adrenaline even though he didn't win last game. Seems to have a positive outlook on Starcraft and losses, which is nice. I'm sure Harstem is beeping and bopping and booping along to his music. In the top left, down 1, he is Cass. In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is Harstem. Last game was definitely Harstem's, but Cass made it close. Made Harstem make some, pretty difficult decisions. But I think Cass might be a little bit reluctant to allow that late game to happen. There's already a couple times in this entire series where Cass seemed to be pressured to push, which then made a not great situation into a really bad situation. I could almost feel the Terran, spirit bond there. I was like, I could feel him wanting to push and being like, no, I really shouldn't. In both game 2 and game 3. And in game 3, just decided to at least make a decision, which is always better than indecision, and just commit to the attack, which almost worked. It almost did. So what do you do on Submarine after a game like that? Cass has tried 2 different openers to punish Harstem's weird and greedy builds, and they haven't worked. Might be time to go back to just a simple tank push like the first game. Maybe San's 3rd CC. Delay that 3rd CC for a little while and do the push. I'd imagine Harstem game 4, kind of revealing how you're playing to your opponent at this point, and on Submarine. Imagine Harstem doesn't do a 2 gateway right into Colossus build or something like that. Because he has been skipping usually crucial steps. Seems to be a lot of his builds involve taking risks he deems appropriate or deems that, something that he can say, I know how to defend, even if I don't have X, Y, or Z. And well, hey, they've worked out twice now. Lost once, won twice, maybe they'll work again for the 3rd time. Maybe a probe goes down. Hey-oh! Nailed it! Harstem has a probe doing something, but I think it might just be waiting to scout. Yeah, Twilight Council comes down. I mean, it could be for a Dark Shrine, but that'd be an awfully close Dark Shrine. Whoops. Yeah, I think the probe was just looking for even a medevac leaving, maybe? Be a bit early for a medevac though, so I don't know what it was. Up to a factory and then adding on the 2 barracks. Actually, I think this is what he did the second game. I thought it was a 2-1-1, but I think I was wrong. I think maybe this is what he did? No. Okay. So, yeah, so he did like the 2-1-1, which is 1-1 barracks, starport, whatever. No, this is different. This is 3 barracks in a factory. Building tanks, specifically. Not, you know, hopping over and giving that tech lab to a barracks. So this should be a push. This is what I wanted. That's what I said he should do. And I also said that Harstem would believe that he would do that and wouldn't do something greedy, and he's not. He's going for a really fast charge. A couple of extra gateways. It's not a 2-base all-in, but it is a 2-base committal that I think is more so designed to bop Kasa's plan than it is to be a plan in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Harstem is predicting Kas doing a build like this, a tank-based build, and a charge opener / attack is going to do well against that. I like it. I like it a lot from Harstem. Cost maybe a little bit too obvious. Still has a shot to defend, okay? As long as he's defensively set up against this, he has a shot. As soon as he bulks up his army and moves out against a bunch of charge lots, he might be dead. But if he just stays at home...
Twitch Prime sub received. Thank you for
uses his units wisely, pulls his SCVs when necessary, he should be okay. And Harstem is going to have to think of something else to do. This is only 4 gateways. He could add on a 3rd Nexus behind this. And add on maybe even like double 4 or something like that. But there are depths on top of the tank over here. This one's actually going to do more friendly fire than help. 6 SCVs go down, tank goes down, bunkers in the main trying to finish up. The Marines actually doing a pretty damn decent job against what is overall few zealots in the main. And this does not end the game. But as I was saying, I was trying to point out, this doesn't seem like it was supposed to end the game. It either bops Kasa's early tank push and then immediately counters, or it catches him a little off guard, which it did. Tank and 14 SCVs go down. Was that enough for Harstem's committal to charge and the attack? I don't know. Harstem did not slap down that fast for 3rd Nexus. He did commit to Warpins. He didn't just make 6 zealots and go, ooh, I'm scary. He made 6 more and then 6 more. So I mean, Harstem is up 15 workers, so there is that. But Kas, I mean, some of the most important things that he needs was a matter of time. He needed to have stim and combat shields, and those were already on the way by the time Harstem attack happened. So even though his army got reduced a little bit, it's already back to form, and it's got those really important upgrades. And Kas is now going to do the starportless push that I was hyping up. And the question is, does Harstem still benefit from that earlier charge, or has he sacrificed too many units in that one attack? It's looking a little scary, but a Colossus pops out. And that's going to help, especially when Kas doesn't realize it's there. Woohoo! Woohoo! Starport's finally on the way, +1's on the way too, but Kas, I think, feeling a little less confident. He sees the charge lot numbers growing. He knows that Colossus is going to do some seriously sick damage to his Marines, and he is going to back away. It's too unique of a game to not back away, I think. If Harstem was greedier, if there's more of an opportunity, I think you commit. If you knew Harstem was going to win if you didn't commit, because Harstem had like a 3rd base and was about to pop out +2 or some, extreme something like that, then you have to commit, sure, but he doesn't have to commit. Harstem isn't exactly on he's not going to win the game right here, right now. He's not exactly there. So pulling back as opposed to just doing what you planned on is the better choice, in my opinion, and in Kas's opinion. This does mean that Kas still has to worry about what Harstem can do harassment-wise, and Eventually, he's going to figure that Harstem's going to have the better economy, which he has had. Now we're working on a third Nexus. Marines are desperate to grab that Warp Prism. They want to take that out of the equation because Koss is preparing for an SCV pool. He does get the Warp Prism. That is really important. Harstem is getting some scouting done with that. He's no third CC. No reaction even on the starport. Whoa, Koss is going to go for a third CC? I did not expect that. Wow, okay, well. Macro game's not gonna work out well for Cass. I liked his pullback, but I think he would have. I think it was just a matter of recommitting. If he had pulled back with the third CC and it's landing right now, okay, fine. If he pulls back to have a stronger attack later, yeah, great. But I feel like he's kind of hitting middle of the road here. Third CC only halfway done. Zealot's still gonna do a run by despite not having a Warp Prism to help them out. All depots lifted in a desperation attempt to hold. Tanks now tanking the shots from the Colossus after they've already killed so many of the Marines. Harstem meeting this head first has added a lot of kills to the counter of those Colossus. Koss might as well have SCV pulled. Dropping the natural is cleaned up without doing too much damage. Koss, tricky game here. Tricky game. Thank you, Yoga Dragon, for the Twitch Prime sub. And I think Harstem, at the end of the day, Harstem's plan, I think, was just better. And if Koss had perfectly responded, had taken little to no damage from the Zealots, and then, I don't know, go out SCVs and bunkered up faster before that Colossus is out? Maybe. GG. Harstem with the 3-1 looking very good against Koss, but now has to face Hero Marine. And I gotta tell you, that is going to be different. Hero Marine is probably watching those games and